Hello, true believers. Welcome to my channel, Mr. Miracle Comics. My name is Dave, and today I have 5 more undervalued comic books. Alright, so the first book that I want to bring up, it's actually a book that was recommended to this channel by Caleb the Comic Smurf. If you haven't gone to Caleb's channel, I highly suggest you do. That guy has got a lot of energy, and he really loves comic books. Anyways, Caleb recommended for us today The Avengers number 85. Now this book is from 1971. That makes it 47 years old, and it is the first appearance of the Squadron Supreme. It's also the first appearance of Dr. Spectre, and it's also the first appearance of Mark Militan as Hyperion. So this book actually, if you take a look here on the cover, it has a editorial mistake listing it on the cover as the Squadron Sinister. It's not inside the book. They are only referred to as the Squadron Supreme. But this book, I found this book for $10, right? Still, way under the radar. If they're going to expand bad guys and stuff, good chance they might pick one of the Squadron Supreme. I'm not saying they'll pick all of the Squadron Supreme, but there might be one or two of those characters that are in there. If not, you have a really cool first appearance, Silver Age first appearance of, well, I guess Bronze Age first appearance of a major villain team, right? The Squadron Supreme. Great team. Love Hyperion. Love Dr. Spectrum. So I think this is a really great book and a great pick that you can find for cheap, and maybe see some value out of it in a few years. Anyways, this is a book that really does fly under the radar a lot of the time. So good pick, Caleb. The next book that I wanted to bring up on the list, it also was recommended to this channel by a gentleman that goes by the handle Gorilla Grodd, and I think he was really on the money when he picked Prince Namor, the Submariner, number 23. So this is from 1970. Okay, that makes this book 48 years old. Excuse me. This is the first appearance of this giant blue guy here on the front called Orca. So Orca, he goes into kind of like an experimental soldier Atlantean program, kind of like the Captain America program, but with Atlanteans. And he gets fused with the power of an orca, a killer whale, right? So he becomes very big, very strong, very much the Atlantean Hulk, as it were. Right, and in case you haven't noticed, Submariner books are going ballistic right now. If you want to get his very first appearance, I believe it's from 1939. I can't remember the exact issue, but if you wanted to get Namor's very first appearance, that book is going crazy. I personally, don't have a couple years mortgage payments to pay for a book. If you want to get his first Silver Age appearance, Fantastic Four number 4. That book has gone crazy in price. If I think maybe 10 years ago that was a $200 book. Now that book is going for a couple thousand at least in the same sort of condition. Submariner number 1, the first one of his series. I bought a copy of that. I bought that for $15, probably 12 years ago, right? Nobody was specking on the Submariner. Now that book has gone crazy on eBay. People are asking a couple hundred at least for that book. We're going to grab the villains, right? Because the hero is obviously, he's starting to get way out of our reach. There's not much undervalue to the Submariner, Namor himself. But his villains, this is an area where we can take advantage. This guy is a very good chance that he could show up as a villain in a Submariner movie, right? There was a little blurb in Endgame about an earthquake, and the Wakandans were talking about it. That is kind of a prelude to what happened in the Atlantean Wakandan War, right? So a lot of people are specking that perhaps Namor is going to show up in Black Panther 2, which will be out, probably early spring of 2021, maybe February of 2021, if they want to release it around the same time that they did the first one. So that's about a year and a half, maybe a little bit over a year and a half from now. So definitely, Submariner is going to be a hot book for the next year and a half. And, if he actually shows up in the trailer, kaboom, everything is going to explode around the Submariner. So let's grab up some of his villain appearances, because you can get this book for, I got this one for $5, and I didn't buy it that long ago, right? I know, you probably find it in that $5 to $10 range. And I think it's a great first appearance to have in my collection, regardless if he shows up in a movie or not, especially for a price you can pay on such a hot book. Okay. So I'm going to follow suit with Gorilla Grodd, and I'm going to pick a different fantastic or Atlantean villain, or Submariner villain, and I am going to pick Atuma. Right. So my pick is the Fantastic Four, number 33. It's from 1964, and it is the first appearance of Atuma. Okay, so this is a major Submariner villain. When I think of Submariner villains, I think of Tiger Shark, I think of Atuma. Atuma is, kind of the Red Skull of the Atlanteans. He's like the leader bad guy. So if Namor does show up, if they ever had a Submariner movie ever, almost assuredly you're going to see Atuma, right? He is such a famous character connected to the Submariner, and you can still go on eBay and find this book for $30. Way undervalued. If he ever hits on a movie, most people don't even think of looking in Fantastic Four for a Submariner villain, right? So this book is flying way under the radar. And if he ever did show up in a movie, you could watch this book jump up significantly in price for sure. All right. So pick number 4. I am going to pick. So we all know Marvel Spotlight 32 is the first appearance of Spider-Woman. That book has seen significant jumps in value, and I would not particularly call it undervalued anymore. It is one of those known books. It's been on the CBSI Hot Top 10 list and all sorts of things, so the price of that book has gone up significantly. Not a lot of undervalue to it, although I still think that it would be worth picking up in case Spider-Woman does make a real big appearance into the MCU. That book will see a jump in price. But a much, much more undervalued book is her second appearance. And not a lot of people even realize, because it is Marvel 2-in-1, number 30. Okay, this book comes from 1977. And the second appearance of Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. Okay, so I personally believe that there is, second appearances and even cameo appearances can be a very good investment still, and often see a lot of undervalue to it. Where, her first appearance is selling for over $100. I bought this one for $1.50. Right, so very much, most people don't really even realize that this is her second appearance, and Marvel 2-in-1 isn't a massively collective series. So getting her second appearance, I think for a couple bucks or even $5 is well worth it. And that's my pick, Marvel 2-in-1, number 30 from 1977. All right, and my last pick, and everybody might groan about this one a little bit, but I'm going to pick The Incredible Hulk number 340. Now this isn't exactly the super cheap book that I normally talk about. But if you look at the prices of Incredible Hulk number 181, it's going ballistic. It's the price of that book compared to what it was 10 years ago. It's astronomical. It's unbelievable, and it's getting more and more hot because now that the X-Men are coming into the MCU, and Kevin Feige has hinted at having a Wolverine Hulk fight, people are going crazy for that book. The second most famous comic book that has Hulk and Wolverine fighting in it has got to be The Incredible Hulk number 340, the second time they fight. Todd McFarlane issue from 1988. This book will still run you in the $75 to $100 range, but if that fight happens, The Incredible Hulk number 181 will be so far out of reach for the average person. Everybody's going to want to start getting at least the second fight, right? It's almost a second appearance fight, So I'm specking on this book because that's $75 if you can get one. If you can find one, on a good deal and get it for 50, do it. Right? Because I think once the 181 has gotten so high, everybody's going to start flocking over onto this book, right? Even 180 is really jumped up in price, the very first cameo. But that fight, the whole fight scene here, could see a really significant jump once Wolverine shows up. I mean, that's years away. Don't expect Wolverine in the MCU for, I'd say, a minimum 3 years, if not more, 5 years, right? And certainly not this Hulk fight. And don't worry about the Hulk ever leaving the MCU. That won't happen. If they want to, they will simply cast somebody else to be his voice, and Mark Ruffalo will be out, and CGI Hulk will stay. Right? An animated character cannot quit. Right? The animated character does not need a contract. The guy that voices him, and they made a switch already with the Red Skull. Most people don't even realize that that's not Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull in the last 2 Avengers movies. He only did the Captain America movie. So they can do it. And so we don't worry about the Hulk leaving, and we know that Wolverine is coming. And they've talked about, and Kevin Feige has talked about this fight. Makes sense, right? $75 now, possibly, $150 book later. Anyways, you might not agree with that pick, but I've been really thinking about it, thinking that, that Hulk 181, I'm not going to be able to afford one. But I did a bit. Well, I was able to afford this, right? So this is more of the, the poor man's 181 for sure. Okay, grab that one. I think it's going to be some good value for you there. Anyways, that has been 5 undervalued picks for today. My name is Dave. This is Mr. Miracle Comics. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next video.